What's up guys, my name is Overwatch747. This is going to be my first video in my Overwatch map guide series, and I'm just going to jump right into it. We are on Nepal, which is a part of the control game mode, and it's going to have 3 separate locations, each with its own control point that you have to attack or capture. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys the different routes you can take to get to the main area with the capture point. So this left hand route has this building with the large health pack if you need it, and you get into this small corridor right here that leads you to the main area. You also have a main entrance, pretty self-explanatory. Go in here, go in this big room, also has a large health kit, and you can come out on either side into the main area. And a little flanking route that not a lot of people know about is to go to the right hand side. A lot of people will just go in this room right here with the small health kit and go this way, but you can actually jump up on this ledge right here and jump onto the wall, run across the wall, and jump onto that main platform. Now, before you jump, you always want to jump before you press forward when you're on this thing, because if you press forward first, you will fall off and then you won't be able to make the jump. So just jump and press forward first, and from here, you can either come right here and provide cover fire for your teammates trying to cap the point, or you can jump right here and flank the enemy team. Only thing you have to worry about is anyone that's trying to grab this health kit come out here and find you. It won't be good for you if you're stuck on this little ledge and someone else is trying to kill you from right there. So just keep that in mind. And the main area itself has the control point right here. It's this big square with the pit to the right. Now, obviously, if you're a hero that can get knocked off really easily and cannot get back onto the map, you want to hug the left-hand side when you're capturing this point, just so no one can knock you off. And if you're a hero that can be knocked off and get back onto the map, like say Genji or Pharah, you actually want to hug this right-hand side, because if your opponents aren't so smart, they might knock you off and waste their knockoff ability on you. You'll be able to get back up, and your team will be safe from that person's knockback ability for a few seconds at least. So there's also a corridor to the left here. You see a lot of firefights in here. There's a large health kit, and what I like to do is I like to come in here, kill anyone that's in here, and jump into this little room. And this little room is really great for attacking or defending this point because it's so close to it. You have a fallback. You can run back into this part of the room and make them come to you. And if you're a character like Genji or Lucio, anyone who has good mobility, you can get back up here and either run away and get to the point this way, or just grab that health pack and jump back down and get to the point through here. The other way you can defend the point and or attack the point is, again, provide cover fire right here. You have a view of the entire enemy side. You have a view of that little room I was just talking about, and you have that health pack right here if you are getting shot at and you need some help. The last thing I'll say about this map is that certain characters can get up here. Soldier 76 can get up here with rocket jumps, Junkrat can get up here, Pharah can get up here, and Pharah is really good right here because if anyone gets too close to that edge, she can pop a concussive shot and knock anyone else off the map that tries to go there. So that's pretty much it for that first area. I'm going to go ahead and go to the second point, and that point we just talked about is called Point C. So if you want to try and remember them, and it might take a few tries to get to the next one. This is unfortunately the only way to get to new points. Okay, here we go. We got Point B. This one's pretty straightforward. We're just gonna dive right back into it. And the one thing I do want to mention before I move on is that all control point maps are symmetrical. So if we went to the enemy spawn, it would look exactly like this. There would be this big building here, the smaller building here, the staircase here, and that includes all health kit placements. So if you go to the enemy spawn, the large health kit is going to be right in that spot. It'll be to the right of the main entrance over there. Everything will be flipped, but it's all going to be symmetrical on these control point maps. So right here you can go two different ways on the upper level. You can go in here and whoops. You can go out into this ledge area right here. So you can get to the main point from that way. You can go out here and head down to the main entrance. And you can also, if you go to the lower levels, there's a large health kit again. And you can come into this room with a large health kit as well. And you can get to the main point that way. What I like to do in this room is I like to hug the right hand side of the wall, because if I come over here, as you can see that ledge up there, anyone who's up there is going to have a huge advantage over me and be able to fire explosives or shots into the room and possibly pick me off. So if I come this way, I always am going to hug this right hand wall and make sure they don't have a good shot on me. Now, as far as the main point itself goes, it is this shrine, and that is where most of the action is going to happen on this point. Most of these matches are going to come down to who can win the first push on this point and who can properly defend on this point. So this shrine is great for defending because it has so much cover. So if my enemy is coming from this way, they're shooting at me, I can duck in here, wait for them to come. If they're shooting at me from the right, I can duck behind these pillars. And the same thing from the left. If they're shooting at me from here, I can duck right here. You cannot get on this pillar right here and just fire on anyone who tries to come into the control point. It looks like Blizzard kind of realized that would be a little too good and made it so that you slide slowly off the pillar and fall back down to the ground. Now, the only other place you do want someone on this map is on this ledge right here, because as you can see, you have visibility of the point, and you also have visibility of that room right there and the ledge over there. And you also have this cover if you duck right here if your opponents are shooting at you. So having a Junkrat, a Pharah, a Widowmaker, anyone who has a long range weapon on this ledge right here is going to help a lot, either defending or attacking the point, and kind of helping your teammates who are making the push to the shrine right here. Last thing I'm going to talk about on this location is this large health pack by this elephant statue. This is a great place to get out of the fire, get a health pack, and run right back into the fray. Other than that, this location is really pretty simple. You just have to win the push at the shrine. And the last thing I will say before I forget is that you can get on these pillars and stand on them, unlike the one in the shrine, but I would not suggest that because you don't have a lot of good visibility and you're super exposed when you're on those. So this last point here we're going to talk about is going to be point A. And once again, it might take a few tries to get to point A. Okay. Third time's a charm, right? Blizzard, if you're watching, please add a feature where you can choose which location you can go to. I love you forever. Alright, I'm just going to end the match, and hopefully that gets it out of this loop. So we've already talked about point B and point C. So now hopefully we get to point A. Point A is going to be a little more, not complicated, but it's going to be a little more to it than the other two points that we've already talked about. Here we go. So we're on point A. Now if we go to the left here, do make note of the large health pack right before the main entrance. There's going to be another large health pack, and there's going to be two flanking routes here. You can either go up on this staircase, you can get to it from there with a high mobility hero, or just go through the main entrance and duck into this room right here, and you'll get to the staircase. And from the staircase, you can either go into the upper level of the point right here, the point being in that building, or you can run down the staircase and flank them. Now, if you flank on the staircase, the only problem is you're exposed to anyone looking in this general direction when you're on the staircase. So if you want to be a little more sneaky and you have a high mobility hero, anyone that can bridge this horizontal gap can jump over here, run straight, jump again, and they're in the enemy base. And the only time they were exposed is to anyone in this big room right here, which if you're good enough, you can just come here, see someone's in the room, take them out, and then they might assume that you're going to go straight to the point, and they might not expect you to go back and try and flank. So that's always a pretty good way to catch your opponents by surprise. There's also a main entrance, pretty self-explanatory. There is this small health pack, before I forget, right here, and you can get to the main area that way. There's two different ways you can get to the main area from the right hand side. You can go here, and I don't prefer that because A, I'm super far from the point, and B, I have visibility of practically nothing over here. The only exception is if I'm a Junkrat, I might go here to launch grenades into the point from right here. Sometimes that kind of works pretty well to disorient the enemy team. But if I'm going to go that way, what I like to do is I like to go up this staircase and go this way. It's going to take me onto the same side of the map, but I'm closer to the point. I have a little more visibility of the point right here, and I have the large health kit in order for me to heal up if I need to. Now, the main 2 points that you're going to want to have control of on this map are not the control point itself. Obviously, you have to capture the point, don't get me wrong, but once you capture it, you don't want to stay in the point because you have no visibility, can't really see anything, and you're in an enclosed space, which is inviting explosives to come in and mess you up. So if you want to defend on the lower levels, stay in this big room right here because you have more visibility. You can see the entire right side of the map. You can see the entire left-hand side of the map. And you also have visibility and you're close to the point if you need to run in there and defend it as well. Now the upper level is also really important for this point because you can see all the entrances to the enemy base right here, right here. You see anyone over there? And you have cover that you can duck behind if you're getting fired at. So if you're a character like McCree, you can use your long range fire, his right click and or right trigger, depending on what system you're on. And if you duck behind cover, you force them to come to you, and as a McCree, you're going to do really well with someone 1v1 if they're really close to you. And if someone's capturing the point and you need to contest it, you can drop right down and you're right on the point. So if you're attacking, you have to keep those things in mind, and the best way to clear out anyone in that big room is to go this flanking route and go behind here, pick anyone off who's hiding in here. And if you're on the upper levels, again, use the flanking route, go up the staircase, go up here, get anybody who is on this upper level, and then try and keep control of it yourself. And anyone who is trying to stay in the point and camp the point, have a character with explosives, get in this area right here and fire into the control point from that area. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this first video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please subscribe if you want to see any of the other map guides.